everyone, welcome. I'm Nicole Belanda. I'm the Customer Advocacy Program Manager at Rockwell Automation, and we are here, as you can see, at Automation Fair in the Rock Studios. This session is all about generative AI for asset performance. And we're going to be talking about prescriptive maintenance and beyond, so I'm really excited about this session. I'm joined by Mike and Luda, who are experts in this area, so it should be pretty good. I'll have you guys introduce yourselves if you don't mind. Luda, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Nicole, for having us. My name is Luda. I'm a group product manager at Fix, and I'm also a PhD in data science, and I really love building AI products. That's what I'm doing here at Rockwell.
Great, I'm so happy to talk to you. We've talked in years past, and you're just really fun to talk with because you're so knowledgeable. And Mike, tell us about who you are and what your role is.
Yeah, my role at Fix with Rockwell is a solutions consultant manager. Been helping with the asset risk predictor product for the last couple of years, but I also come from a background of almost 20 years in the maintenance world.
Ooh, awesome, that's great. I didn't know that about you. Well, it's good for me to meet you. I'm glad that you're here today too. So I guess, Mike, let's start with you then, since you come from the maintenance world. What are some of the challenges that maintenance folks are seeing?
Yeah, well, oftentimes challenges in the maintenance world, there's many, but some that rise to the top are just the availability of data or information. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've been on a breakdown in the middle of the night and I go looking for a piece of information or documentation, and it's nowhere to be found. So having it readily available, not locked away in some technician's toolbox is key. As well as, you know, when we look in the maintenance world, we've really spent, I think, as a bit of a culture, moving people out of trades. So having information and the ability to enable the trades we do have access to and people coming on board, the greener technicians to information quickly that helps them resolve problems efficiently is key. And lastly, you know, often on the information topic, you know, we've got seasoned technicians often that kind of hoard data. They keep it to themselves. So, you know, how do we make that available to the rest of the team so that they can benefit from that knowledge and ultimately keep these shops running more consistently and see less breakdowns?
That's so interesting and so relatable. Like, I just think about in my own house, if my thermostat goes down, I don't want to be digging around for all of the information to try to figure out what the root cause is, why it went down, what action do I need to take. I would love to have my data readily accessible and out of the brain of somebody else. So
Absolutely.
It sounds very important. How does generative AI enter this conversation?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good question. And while we were working on our product, Predictive Maintenance, a solution called Asset Risk Predictor, a couple of years back, it's working based on anomaly detection and machine learning, and it produces risks that showcase that there is a potential problem that might happen with your equipment. We also were interviewing our customers and subject matter experts that we have luckily in our team about like what's missing, what else do we need? And we found some of those challenges, like the information is not available. Okay, we can predict the risk, there is a risk, but what should we do with this? And then it was the same year with the generative AI boom in 2023, then it started growing and there were super powerful models like GPT coming to the market. We realized that that's it, we can use some of those advanced technologies to address some of the challenges that our customers have. And that's how we came up with the prescriptive maintenance, and that's pretty much the recommendation and the exact tasks that need to be performed when the equipment shows the risk, and Asset Risk Predictor shows the risk, and then we can generate the steps to follow.
Wow, that's really neat. And it's super advanced, I think, for the way we think about maintenance. Can you talk a little bit maybe just about the maintenance journey? So for many customers, I think it's often calendar-based or it's reactive. What does that journey look like, and how do we get to prescriptive? That's the goal, right?
Yeah, oftentimes customers come from a reactive situation where they're simply running to failure and having to address them as they come. You know, the natural progression is to move towards calendar-based, where we kind of identify standard failures, put in procedures against those failures, and essentially fix the problem before it happens. When we get into more advanced techniques like condition-based, we can trigger work based on the machine giving us information back, what state is it in, and then ultimately to tool Luda and team's been involved in, having it predict failures ahead of time, and then of course helping guide the work that's done based on the condition the machine's in.
Very cool. So I think when we all think about generative AI, we think checking it for accuracy, right? Like when I use ChatGPT, which I do, I always go back through and check. Are there checks also in place with this tool?
Yes, so we do have a number of checks. So first of all, it functions like ChatGPT. So we do use some foundation models and large language models, but we also collect the information that our maintenance teams have over time. So for example, like Mike mentioned, there are seasoned technicians that actually keep the knowledge in their heads. So when they start using Fix CMMS, they start typing these work orders in, the tasks in, and information is there. So we collect the knowledge base of that information, and we start using all these language models on top of some other checks for safety, checks for compliance, checks for relevancy. It has to be relevant to maintenance. So we have these layers of checks before we produce the outcome, before we produce the results. But of course, there is still a chance that AI is not ideal, and even humans are not ideal too. So both can make mistakes. And as we heard on the keynotes earlier at the Rockwell Automation Fair, the best outcome is when AI and humans collaborate. So when we produce these tasks, for example, first of all, we always recommend to validate these tasks. So maintenance manager can check and validate if there is something that should not be done or something should be changed. They can easily change it, and our tool allows to do so. And next time, this updated information goes back to the knowledge base. So next time it will be more and more accurate. So that's how AI and human collaborate to build the better tomorrow.
That's really, really interesting. And it kind of shifts the whole way you think about a maintenance issue. Like it's no longer just a negative thing, it's actually a learning opportunity so that never will happen again because now that's part of the system. That's a really neat shift in perspective. So what does prescriptive maintenance give to our customers? Like what are the benefits of shifting to prescriptive?
So the benefit is that, first of all, you don't need to type your instructions manually. So it's automatically generated for you. So you can just use it, and in worst case scenario, you just need to slightly adjust the recommendation rather than like starting it from scratch, which already saves a lot of your time. Number two, you don't need to search for those manuals that could be like all over the place. So what it does, it collects that knowledge base that I was mentioning earlier. The knowledge base is collected based on the previous informations, and also you can attach those manuals actually to the same, like in Fix CMMS we have a place where to attach it, and then it's also becoming a part of the same knowledge base. So no need to search for information, and it is automatically producing the tasks for you. So that's kind of
That's great. And you mentioned earlier, Mike, the workforce challenges that a lot of industrial companies are facing when it comes to staffing for maintenance. Does this help with that then?
Yeah, absolutely. Having access to that information at your fingertips by literally typing in a natural language question gives so much more opportunity to get feedback about that machine and the problem at hand. Oftentimes we get in situations where we don't have the subject matter expert for a machine, but because all of that information is in the system already through historic work orders, manuals that have been uploaded, maybe technician notes about work they've done in the past, now we can pull in technicians from maybe other departments that aren't familiar with that machine. They can ask those questions and get that information back right at their fingertips.
That's really exciting. I think it just makes you more nimble then, right?
Absolutely.
Like your downtime is going to be less because you'll always have somebody there that has the
Absolutely.
information they need to fix it.
Yes.
That's great. So Luda, let's talk about the explicit name of the product for folks who are watching and who want to go look it up and see our webpage and learn more.
Yeah, so the core predictive maintenance product's name is Fix Asset Risk Predictor. So it has generative AI components in it. So component number one is called Prescriptive Maintenance. That's the ability to generate these tasks automatically. And component number 2 is the fixed maintenance copilot that Mike briefly mentioned, that you can also type a question to produce clarification. So for example, if you're a new technician, you need to clarify things and find this information quickly in the same knowledge base. So asset risk predictor, prescriptive maintenance, and fixed maintenance copilot.
Great, thank you. And if you want to learn more about any of those, you can absolutely find this information on rockwellautomation.com's website. It's all out there for you to learn about. So hopefully this got you excited about the future of maintenance. I think it's pretty exciting. It's incredibly exciting, yeah. So thank you for tuning in, and don't go anywhere because we do have a couple more sessions still coming up today. Thank you.